Hello, and welcome to another episode of On The Topic. This week, much like a teenager, I've got a hormone imbalance, but that's okay. I'm Alex.
And I'm waking up in an organic web cocoon in distress. I'm Dan.
And this week, we are going to be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hot off the heels of our On The Go episode, where we haven't done it for a long time, Dan, have we?
No, it's been a hot minute, actually. I think the last time we actually did an On The Go episode was...
October?
December. Only just.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to that episode, it's a pretty good one. We really struggled not to make it spoilery, but it is spoiler-free. So this is probably a good opportunity to do a couple of things, listener. If you haven't seen this film and you don't want any spoilers, this is not yet the episode for you. We'd like you to come back because we want you to be part of the conversation. But if you haven't seen it, this will spoil a lot of things. So pause it, go watch the film and come back to this. That's okay, that's fine. However, what you can do if you haven't listened to it is listen to the On The Go. Because we go to cinema. You can go with us with our lapel mics. Come along with us to the cinema doors where we can talk about all of our hopes and dreams. And also then, as we're literally still in the cinema, the seats are still warm, we are walking back and we're talking about honest thoughts and feelings, but not including any spoilers.
It seems to get earlier and earlier every time we do an On The Go episode now.
It is. I think once the credits are rolling, I'm there revving up the lapel mics, ready to go.
He doesn't mess around, listener.
Very eager. But there's something else that the listeners can do, Dan, can't they, at this point in the episode?
You should absolutely hit a Peter and Ned handshake on that subscribe button.
Oh, yeah. By the way, he doesn't actually brief on these things. He's just rolling with it, and it's lovely. It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I do try and think about these things before we go into recording, but...
You think about before you speak?
I try.
I don't.
Try. Sometimes I don't.
Clearly shows.
But anyway, that will allow you to get notified every time a new episode drops.
Yes, please. And we'll give you the contact details as we usually do at the end of the show. Oh, and as a review, we should probably do the spoiler klaxon just so that everyone knows there are spoilers ahead. But Dan, should we get into it this week?
Let's do it.
Spider-Man Brand New Day. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. Cretton? I didn't just call him a Cretin, did I?
No, Creton.
Starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie... Sorry, quick question. That's actually a stage name for her. I haven't professed to know or have looked into her real name, Zendaya. If you had to have a stage name, what would it be, Dan?
What would it be? Dan the Diva.
That you didn't even hesitate.
No.
Dan Diva.
That's what my friends call me.
So would you just be called Diva then?
Just Diva, yeah. I sound like a drag queen, but that's fine.
That's all right.
It would roll these days.
Diva. That sounds quite cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It does happen. Sometimes, like, group chats, they'll be like, "Oi, Diva." Yeah.
That really works. Okay. All right, Diva. Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, John Berthnell, Florence Pugh, Tremel Tillman, Marissa Tomei, and Mark Ruffalo. Any further advances anyone I've missed?
Produced by Kevin Feige, Amy Pascal, Avi Arad, and Rachel O'Connor. Film was written by Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers. And then you've forgotten the most important part, Alex.
Tell me.
Score, the music, Michael Giacchino.
Really good. Rousing in the vibe of the film where the character is at, but familiar enough to be reminiscent of the other films. Lovely score.
I liked it. Runtime of 145 minutes, and the budget was $225 million. But Alex, you've got an updated version of the box office as it stands.
Opening, domestic, not even worldwide, 1.053 billion. He's already hit $1 billion, and it wasn't even out. I think it was 8 days. Less than that. 4 days, and it was $1 billion. $1 billion, Dan.
That's insane,
and that's
isn't it?
Just the US takings. I mean, I can't get my head around that because I don't know how much the world will add to it, but I think it's significant enough to say we could be looking at a $2 billion film.
I think so. It would come close to
Endgame,
Endgame, I think.
Did Endgame do $2 billion?
I think it did, yeah.
Only just, if it did. But this is massive.
Let me just... I will check that while you're talking, Alex.
I mean, to give people an idea, within the first opening weekend, so I think they technically call it 3 days, in the US, Spider-Man had already surpassed and doubled the take-home of Supergirl. Now, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, I'm sure it's not, but just to put it into perspective, it hadn't even been fresh off the courier and installed into a cinema, had it already burned through the take-home of James Gunn's latest DC outing. That's phenomenal.
Just to confirm, Endgame finished with nearly 2.8 billion, and of course it's going to make more money next month when they re-release it with 7 extra minutes of new footage, which is going to tie into Doomsday.
Yeah. This could be massive. This could be massive for Sony. And this is interesting because it goes back 2 episodes ago when we talked about the state of Sony and what's going on with the Spider-Verse.
But you want to do a follow-up episode on
I want to go in on Amy Pascal and the crew and talk about why. And I'll talk about it later on in the film. By the way, this is not a foreshadowing. I like this film. Some might say even I might have loved it. So I'm not saying that this is going to be me ragging it. I'm not. But I think they did him a dirty. And they continue to do this character a dirty. But I don't understand why. So yeah, perhaps we'll do a follow-up episode in a couple of episodes' time. But otherwise... before we get into the synopsis, if you're not sure what this is, listener, then you probably listened to the wrong episode. Peter anonymously protects New York City as a hero, Spider-Man, and investigates a potential new threat while his superpowers undergo a surprising, potentially dangerous evolution. Anything else we missed before we get into the synopsis, Dan?
Nope.
Let's dive in, shall we?
Let's do it.
Do you start?
I've got the plot. I haven't got the synopsis.
Ah, you go first.
I'm prepared. So you want me to go through the plot?
Why not?
Let's do it. Now, following Dr. Stephen Strange's spell, the world has forgotten that Peter Parker exists. Of course. 4 years later, Peter has been anonymously protecting New York City as its celebrated hero, Spider-Man, but has distanced himself from those he used to know, including his ex-girlfriend, Michelle Jones Watson, a.k.a. MJ, and former best friend, Ned Leeds. That's a lonely life.
Very lonely.
Now, Peter intervenes when a tank rampages through the city and breaks into the Department of Damage Control's building. The driver had been telepathically possessed. This poor old lady.
She's confused.
Poor old lady. She's confused. She's like, Spider-Man? And Spider-Man's like, what just happened? Anyway, the telepath body hops from person to person to help Mac Gargan, an enhanced criminal Peter previously captured, to escape. So I don't know why I stopped and hesitated there.
So obviously just checking to make sure it is actually Mac Gargan.
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't seen him since Homecoming. He was in prison with the Vulture, aka what's his name? I've forgotten his name, the actor's name.
Adrian Toomes. Was Batman. Yeah, him.
That guy.
Michael Keaton.
That's it, Michael Keaton.
There we go.
Now, Peter inquires with Yelena Belova. You've got beef about these crossovers, I think.
I do.
Who tells him someone has repeatedly attacked the Department of Damage Control in search of VMAX. Sounds like a chemical or some sort of dodgy substance.
Some kind of compound. Compound V. It's like The Boys.
Yes.
Isn't it?
We all sat there scratching our heads like, what could VMAX be?
What could it possibly be? Is it a device? Is it a canister of green goo?
Could be anything.
Could be.
Now, Peter questions Department of Damage Control Director Bill Metzger, who claims ignorance. He doesn't have any idea.
Who, Bill or Spider-Man?
Bill.
Not a Scooby.
He actually does legitimately look like he scratches his head like, I don't know what you mean. What is VMAX?
Yeah. Which, to be fair, he doesn't have a clue because he's not in the chair.
Nope. But anyway, Peter encounters Ned and MJ, who have moved back to New York after graduating from MIT, but of course they don't recognise him.
No. He goes to the house party.
He does.
And this is where things really start going wrong.
And MJ's
smooching.
boyfriend.
She's smooching.
They're having a smooch. Peter returns home. He's stressed out. He's upset. Of course you would be, finding that your ex-girlfriend who you're still clearly clinging on to after 4 years.
The thing is, though, technically she is an ex, but is she? Because they never really broke up.
No.
And I think that's probably the real kicker, is that he's done nothing wrong. He didn't really have that closure. Just doesn't remember him.
No.
And now she's with some other geezer, necking on. He's like, are you fucking for real?
Yeah.
Like, I would be seething. He's sad. I'd be fucking seething. With those powers, my fist would be going through his face into the wall. But clearly, I don't appreciate great power comes great responsibility.
No, Peter does.
Well, he does until then his powers get a hold of him and he ends up nearly killing a copper.
This is where it gets interesting. He wakes up the next morning with heightened senses and organic webs coming out of his wrists. He
Yummy.
Makes a remark about Peter too, doesn't he?
I know we're skipping ahead probably about 12 minutes in the film, but can I just make when we're watching, and I think I chuckled a little bit in the first time, but he's there and he's on the rooftop, he's like, I'm going to practice, and he's like going, go webbing, and it's not really working, it's spluttering.
It's just a nice little like Easter egg of Tobey Maguire's first outing back in 2002.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And he's spluttering out of his wrist. He's like, bleh, and he's gagging. And I'm like, that is actually disgusting. Like, if I was there and I suddenly had this thing, I'd be like, what is that? Splurging out of my wrists. I would be gagging too.
And
like,
then
it's disgusting.
He then loses control and it's just
Splurging
spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
Splurging. Are we trademarking that as another
Let's
OTT? Add it to the snappening and what was the other one? Smudging.
Yeah.
Smudgening.
We'll add it onto a t-shirt. Be part of our merch line.
We need to get a merch line done. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
But I was just there, just like laughing, going, yeah, like, it's relatable. Like, if that's happened, although he's seen other Spider-Man do it, you would be gagging. It's gross.
It's so grim.
It's hilarious.
He ends up tracking down Gargan, now possessed, as he tries to break back into the Department of Damage Control.
Yeah.
The telepath mocks him, and Parker reacts with uncharacteristic violence, brutally beating Gargan and inadvertently injuring a responding police officer. It's savage. He gets the Scorpion on the floor, he's tearing the tail off and beating Gargan with his own weapon.
The irony is, though, that's not even probably 50% of his potential.
No.
Spider-Man is insanely strong, but he just holds back so much, and even then he's still holding back. If you think about it, Gargan really is just a man in a suit.
Yes, he is.
And he's proper doing a number on him.
I'd be interested to know how Gargan got the suit, because he was literally in prison.
Meh. Origin stories.
We'll just skim over that.
We'll just put it into our montage.
Yeah.
Why not? Bigger fish to fry, mate. Bigger potatoes.
It's ridiculous, because in the comics, it's J. Jonah Jameson that creates the Scorpion.
That was one of the first comic books I ever got. Was what's on the first? Like, it was like the two-tone, like, coloured.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man, like everything was like yellow or pink. It was really like quite psychedelic colours, and it was the origins of a Scorpion. And it is savage. Like, it's such a good read. I can highly recommend anyone who wants to kind of read up on it. Go back to the originals, like in the 60s or the 50s or the late 50s. It is so good. Like, even the pencils of Spider-Man are really, really good. And it's just it's wonderful.
If you've got money to spend, I'd recommend, if you can, picking up the omnibuses of Amazing Spider-Man. I've got volumes 1 and 2. I think I'm going back to the mid 2010s. I think I picked up the first volume for about 70 quid. It's probably more now, inflation and all that. I think I got volume 2 for a Christmas present from the missus.
Lovely.
But yeah, there is a really good read, especially the earlier stuff, because it was like a new villain every episode.
But really masterfully designed and drawn, and they didn't waste time in establishing what their beef is. Like, within 4 pages, which is like, I don't know, 3 dozen panels. That's it. They've established.
Mm.
But it's done so succinctly and so efficiently. You're like, yeah, fine. There's no filler. You know exactly where they're coming from, know exactly what they want to do, and they know exactly what they're made up of.
Yep.
Beautiful.
It's good stuff.
It really is.
Now, hoping to control his mutations, Pete goes to Bruce Banner. Again, this could have been the Lizard, but it's fine. We're rolling with the punches here.
Didn't need to.
To ask about the inhibitor device that suppresses his alter ego, the Hulk. Now, I just want to rewind to the On The Go episode, and I said there is a mention of another Spider character in class.
You didn't tell me about this. I didn't ask you about it. And I since have seen some stuff.
Mm.
Do you want to pick up here?
Yes.
After you.
Cindy.
Mm.
Is this Cindy Moon, also known as Silk? So in the comics, again, in comic lore, she is bitten by the same spider that bites Pete.
Yeah.
And she gets spider powers. But in the comics, I think you have to go back to 2014, 2015. I can't.
She's relatively recent.
She's relatively a new character. Yeah, you're right. They have this like weird hormonal imbalance. Really like physically attracted to each other. They're smooching on rooftops. They can't keep their hands off each other. It's some serious
Wow.
hot under the collar stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Little spider babies.
Mm.
I think all suggestions are that it could be, but because they haven't confirmed it, they can easily back out.
Yeah.
And I guess there's argument to say, do they really need another strand and another loose end?
Unless you're Amy Pascal.
In which case you can just have as many as you want.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I've heard. Which would be cool.
Good stuff. On Banner's advice, Pete makes his own inhibitor to limit his powers, while also working on a second to suppress the telepath's powers. Now, before Peter can finish, the telepath finds him, and after learning about MJ, possesses her and tricks... This is just awful.
It really is.
Tricks Pete into revealing his face.
Like, he's on the rooftop, and we all know this scene. And it's like, Peter? And he's just like my heart was in my throat. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is amazing.
She remembers him.
This is everything. And they obviously have an embrace. And then she's got this cold, steely look in her face. I was like, I thought Zendaya's not really not naming this scene, is she? She's looking a bit different. Of course, then she starts talking. It's like, that's it, Peter. You hold her. You hold her like you always
And I was
wanted
like,
to.
oh no.
For fuck's sake. He's only gone and fucked it.
God damn it.
It's not real. She doesn't know who you are. It's Sadie Sink.
It is.
Yeah.
Pete concedes defeat after narrowly saving MJ, though he sees the telepath directly.
Which is a fantastic kind of obvious throwback to No Way Home, where Garfield ends up saving our version of MJ off the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
And obviously then all the way back to Garfield's own second when Gwen carks it, which is brutal.
Oh,
and
it's
her
horrible.
head just lightly taps the
Snaps.
concrete. She's gone.
That whiplash.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oof.
I thought that might be his Gwen Stacy.
Mm.
Thankfully it wasn't, but still, that was savage.
Yeah. He takes a rough bump because he grabs her,
Yeah.
rolls 180 in midair,
Takes
and
it
just
straight to the
flies it through the streets and
Yeah.
through bins and stuff. Yeah, it's nuts.
Gonna hurt.
Pete takes MJ to Frank Castle's hideout to keep her safe. He's on a boat, of all places.
Of course. Where else?
Loads of booby traps, and then setting them off, trying to get to him. Now, with Frank's equipment and MJ's insight, Pete completes both inhibitors and discovers that the telepath's name, spoiler, Jean Grey. And you know what? I was so adamant when the internet was going, it's obvious, it's Jean Grey. It's Jean Grey. I was like, nope, can't be.
Yeah,
Doesn't
same.
make any sense.
Yeah.
We were
It still
both
doesn't.
adamant.
Still doesn't. And they go, Jean Grey. I'm like, really? Like, why?
As soon as her name popped up on the laptop
could have been
screen,
anyone.
and I just went, oh.
But
I was so wrong.
They could have done anyone. Anyway, I'm not going to go two-footed in right now. I'll do it in a minute.
We'll do that in a minute.
Yeah.
When Jean attacks the damage department control again, this time in person and using a possessed Hulk, Pete subdues her and turns her over to damage control. That happens. Before losing consciousness, Jean mentions someone named Sarah. Or Sarah? Sarah. I always get confused between the two pronunciations. I mean, English is such a ridiculous language, isn't it? I mean, I can barely speak it myself.
It's not your fault.
Metzger claims that Sarah is a recently deceased colleague Jean learned about while possessing his mind.
Wah, wah, wah.
To some extent, that is true. We'll get there in a minute. When Pete returns, MJ confronts him with a letter that Pete had wrote for her and Ned explaining the spell that erased their memories. He explains himself and declares his love, but MJ apologises because she does not know who he is or can reciprocate his feelings.
I've seen many a comment online. I think one of the ones which perfectly kind of embodies this scene, and it's like you can see he's just web swinging absolute brutal silence, and you could hear a pin drop in the cinema. It's like, and you could just he's got a face, he's got his mask on, but you can just see he's like fixated on just getting her to the apartment. He doesn't want to talk to her, he doesn't want to engage in it, he's disassociated. He just needs to get there and get the fuck out, because she's just like, I don't love you. He's like, okay.
Did you ever see the Simpsons episode? I mean, this would have been the 90s, where Ralph Wiggum and Lisa go on a date.
Oh, rings a bell.
And you see his heart break in slow motion when Lisa's like, I don't like you, I don't love you, and it's savage. That's what it sort of felt like. Sat there, I was like, oh, Pete.
And they're just in absolute dead silence as they're flipping across the landscape, and it's just like, oh my god, like that must be one of the most awkward moments, because obviously she's got to cling to him, because she ain't got powers. She needs him to give her a ride home. Oh man, like I felt so bad in that situation for both of them. Like it was perfect. It was perfect because you could just feel for him. It was horrible.
And despite all of that, she still invites him into the apartment.
Still does. And
hangs out with Ned, building Lego like pastimes. And she even draws a picture of them.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
But he sat there in the mask, but she's drawn him without the mask. Yeah. So I can see why you two were probably best friends. I was like, oh, why are you doing this to me?
She wants to twist that knife, doesn't she?
She does. After hearing MJ describe that she cannot remember anything while being possessed, Pete realises Metzger had lied to him. He contacts Yelena, who learns from redacted damage control files that Sarah is Jean's sister. This is a fun fact. The actress who plays Jean's sister is 16 years old, whereas Sadie Sink is 25.
Yeah.
That's a mad, age gap.
Crazy,
but you wouldn't have thought it.
No.
Where did we get to? Learn some damage, blah, 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 blah. The only clue Jean has is VMAX, a message she heard telepathically from Sarah. Metzger begins experimenting on Jean's mind. So they're trying to push her powers out, essentially, to try and map.
Yeah, trying to understand how she's doing it and how she's jumping.
Now, it's only Jean realises VMAX is the fading text on the label of the air vent above the holding cell. And the last thing Sarah saw before she died is VMAX. That's just grim, isn't it? It's quite bleak.
Very.
An enraged Jean silently locks the area around her. It goes for a few miles.
Yeah.
People just freezing on the streets of New York.
I can't remember what they said, something like 4 square kilometres or something. It's like it's quite a wedge of the city.
Pete, who is resistant to Jean's abilities, enters Department of Damage Control to stop her. Jean rebuffs him and possesses a large group of the hand ninjas who had been working for Damage Control. And again, I don't know where these ninjas have come from, because they're technically dead ninjas.
They are in the comics. But apparently they're super powered youngsters who just need direction in life. I mean, what the fuck is that all about?
Working for damage control, of course.
They're one of the most dangerous organised criminal groups in recent Marvel history. But we've just downgraded them to miscreants. What is going on?
Another MCU blunder, apparently.
It's massive. Like, the roots in this are just... yeah. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Initially overwhelmed, he removes his inhibitor and embraces his mutations, using his organic webs and heightened senses to defeat the Hand. Pete allows Jean to read his mind, where she finds a memory of his Aunt May, who accepted his abilities and loved him for himself.
Beautiful.
It's a really nice scene, actually.
It's lovely.
Now, Pete offers Jean understanding over her loss and deliberately puts himself between her and Frank, who, I mean, he's some distance off with his sniper rifle.
What a shot.
Takes the shot, and Pete, well, he's nearly killed.
Takes it to the back.
Near fatal wound. I mean, it's probably one of the first times as well where we see the blood behind his head as he's on the floor, just oozing like across the floor. It's really quite
you're right,
graphic.
because usually just gets like the odd scuff or graze, but this is serious.
Like I don't even think we got that in Guardians 3, which is actually probably one of the darker films of phases 4 to 6.
No, I don't think we did.
Pete wakes up in hospital with Frank, who explains that Jean kept him alive while in critical condition. So she's breathing for him.
Yeah.
That's significant. That's a hell of a U-turn from being a villain. A redemption arc, if you will. Sort of.
Maybe. Yeah.
Now, in the aftermath, a guilt-ridden Jean quietly leaves the city. Metzger disappears and damage control comes under investigation. Pete vows he does not need to be alone to be Spider-Man. This is where we get towards the end. When he sees Ned again, he introduces himself. And they do the handshake.
Beautiful. I shed a tear.
Does he remember? Does Ned remember? Because, of course, it cuts off very quickly. It's like, Peter, boom, and credits.
Which is a beautiful kind of end credits, kind of montage of the city. The music's phenomenal. It's not in keeping with films that come before it, but it feels like this is about New York City. New York City is as much as a character as it is about seemingly Jean Grey, not about Spider-Man. Spoiler alert, that's what my gripe is. But it's lovely. It's a lovely 2-minute scene.
That last scene, though, that really sort of caught me. I was like, no, you can't stop there. I need to have a cry.
Are they friends now?
Why
are they going to go and make Lego?
Yeah. So, yeah, that got me. And you had to wait to the very, very end of the credits to see Ned's Spidey Tracker app, which appears to show Spider-Man located somewhere in outer space. Now, this could be a number of things. It could be Miles Morales, because it glitches a bit like the Spider-Verse films. Has Pete been sent off to Battleworld? Are we going to see Spider-Man before Secret Wars? We don't really know. It doesn't give much away. Well,
I've got a bit of a breakdown after we talk about things we liked and we didn't like. So perhaps we can touch about that in a couple of minutes. But that's the film. Only one post-credit scene, so you didn't miss it, listener. Or if you're not yet to see it, but you still listen to us, I mean, you're crazy, but fair play to you. There's only one. So you have to wait until the end of the credits. All those lovely names who worked on it, but is it worth it? I don't think so.
No. I mean, we've
seen it by now anyway.
Twice between us now, haven't we? I went with my dad as well. I
just walked out.
So I just walked out.
You were those people, but you would have seen it online anyway, because it is literally like 10, 12 seconds. Critics, Dan.
Yes.
90% currently.
So that's fresh?
Very. Certified fresh, yeah. Spinning a web of spectacular set pieces together with mature emotional stakes and Tom Holland's soulful performance. Brand New Day is a promising reset that portends Spidey will remain sticky on the big screen for years to come.
I picked up one from Variety, which praised the film for its action, villain, and Holland's performance, but described the film as arduous, clunkily episodic, and half an hour too long, arguing that it is more self-serious than emotionally involving. Is that a bit too harsh, do you think?
Yeah, I agree with 50% of that, but not the other half. Audience, currently at 98%.
That's doing very well.
How's that those potatoes? Very good. But that's a film. That's what the critics think. But what do we think, Dan?
Should we start with the likes?
Yeah.
Let's do it. What I liked is character-driven stories. They're fantastic. It's another film like Thunderbolts, actually, which shows the impact of mental health and loneliness.
Yeah, I mean, it's important.
It's handled very, very well and very delicately, I think.
Yes, it wasn't gratuitous, and I think it was subtle. It doesn't in your face go, I'm lonely, I have all these kind of symptoms, all these telltale traits. It was, you saw it happening, even if you didn't kind of realise or put a name on it. Yeah, I agree.
I enjoyed Punisher, or Jan Bernthal. I thought he was the MVP of the film, actually. Good. I thought we did... he slotted in very well. And again, didn't need the swearing. In fact, I think Pete webbed him when he was about to swear at one point.
There was some gripes from people saying, how did you go from like the recent one shot to now? But I don't think that the version that we got in Spider-Man was disingenuous. I just thought that was still frank. He was still gruff. He was still moody. Yeah, okay, he wasn't swearing every 10 seconds, but I also didn't notice that. I didn't look at him and go, hang on, it's a PG script. I thought they still did true to the character, so yeah, I thought it was well shoehorned in.
He brings the light humour in the right places, but at the same time, he brings the suspense as well.
Yeah.
Especially when he's lining up that shot and he's saying...
You just don't know what he's going to do.
No.
He's a live wire, and that's why I think he was a complementary aspect to this film.
I agree on that. I thought humour was in the right places. So Florence Pugh and Yelena moments were actually comic relief, where it was quite emotionally heavy at times.
Yeah, it did break out.
But then, does she fall into dislikes? I didn't put anything in the dislikes, right? But I know you've got a bit of, not beef, but I think you had a bit of criticism around that when we were talking off air. We'll get to that in a minute. Destin Daniel Cretton makes the series feel fresh and different from the Home trilogy.
Agreed.
It had a very different vibe, and even watching the film, I don't know if it's like a different hue on the... Like when you look at the post and stuff, it sort of feels a little bit darker.
Yeah, the Home trilogy. Did you coin that? Or was that a thing?
I think that was me on the Go episode.
It works.
The Home trilogy.
It's like optimistic, colourful, warm hues, where this is like got a grey filter almost, like it's quite crisp and grey.
But yeah, I like that it brought something fresh to something that we've already had 3 Holland films.
Yeah.
And it just felt different. And spectacular visuals too, especially some of the web-slinging shots. I actually felt like at times I was playing the Spider-Man games.
Yeah, especially the way he moves and takes down some of the baddies, I agree.
Jumping off rooftops and back flipping, forward flipping, twisting.
Spinning falls, yeah.
And you say, when he was webbing up some of the guards, I felt like I was there on my PS5, beating the shit out of people and...
That's Jackie Chan's stunt crew for you.
But those are the bits I liked.
Don't disagree with any of that. I think I've got here that it was street level action. I think it needs to be, and it delivered it perfectly. You know, how can you go from the lofty heights of Endgame and then to the cosmic dumpster fire in a nice possible way of No Way Home, you know, with the multiverse all coming around his ears? Where do you go from there? Got to take it back to the roots, and I think they did it. But they did it really authentically. It wasn't just like a really slow-paced, low-stakes film. The stakes were actually appropriately high. I've got a beef in a second about whether they're the right stakes, but I think they were the right stakes. They can still be all to play for, while not having to be in space or fighting Thanos or fighting a version of Sinister Six. So I thought it was perfectly balanced. I loved the short montage, where we see all of the various different people he's been fighting for the last like two or 3 years.
Because we had Tarantula, Tombstone,
Boomerang.
sadly wasted. Boomerang. I can't remember who the guy is that. I think his name's Baboon.
And he had Scorpion again.
Yes.
Conversely, I also didn't like it. I'll talk about that one in a second. Had buckets of feeling, nostalgia, loads of melancholy, regret, longing, and identity. Brilliant. He ain't got it down. He's working it through. This is all the challenge. Actually, some might say it's actually overwhelming. And these are all things which are relatable themes, hopefully in isolation all at the same time, that everyone feels, so actually you could relate to it. So it's great. Clearly sets up a deeper narrative for the wall crawler, and the events of this film are bigger than the small potatoes that Yelena says.
Yes.
I mean, come on, if you're dealing with one of the most strongest mutants on planet Earth that we know of right now, that ain't small potato.
No.
That's horseshit. The costume, I thought, felt more street level appropriate. The mask looked like a mask, not a cool expensive piece of kit.
Could actually see his ears.
Yep, correct.
Very good.
And his nose. He's pointing out. It worked, it looked great. The events of previous film weren't reversed, so you could have easily gone through the events of No Way Home and gone, I'm going to retcon it, or I'm just going to ignore it in the first half of the film. They didn't. At least not immediately. And all the trauma and the sacrifice was felt, and it was hard watching at times.
Yes, agreed.
I say it's positive, I don't say it's negative, by the way. And it had potential to be quite a miserable film. It had parts of that, but you mentioned about it before. It's balanced with emotion, heavy storytelling quite well. And that's not easily done, because you could have really got into a rut of woe be me, and it's all terrible, and it could have ended up going so far that it was like a parody of itself, and it didn't. So I think you're right, Dan, in terms of what you said. It's very well balanced, but dealt with those themes really quite well. Again, you're right in terms of Thunderbolts. Very tough concepts, and I think they dealt with it with care, personally.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel are good at doing that through comic books and the films, in my opinion. They do touch on a lot of things. I know people will probably go, well, that's a bit woke, but actually it tackles a lot of things very, very well.
And it's relatable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with the dawn of people recognising how much mental health affects people, and even more so post-COVID.
Stanley, Steve Ditko, and who's the other fella I'm thinking of? Jack Kirby. They were doing all this stuff in the 60s. This isn't anything new.
It ain't woke agenda, it's roots.
X-Men's been woke since 1963, kids.
Thank goodness. Those are things I liked. It's good. It's really good. But there are some things which didn't quite land, Dan.
Yeah. Do you want me to kick this one off?
Go on.
Gene.
Agreed.
I'm sorry. No, again, I don't want to take away from the fact I did enjoy this film. And I think this is where when I saw it the second time, this is where I pinned it.
Look, guys, we can like the film. It's just some bits we thought they could have done better. And look, the whole point is there's a discussion. So hopefully by now, 200 odd episodes in, you guys, and more some, you guys know us, and you'll know that we like to give a balanced view. We're not screenwriters. This is a discussion. Hopefully that's why you're listening, because you enjoy that kind of discussion. Get involved in the comments below. Send us messages. But there were some bits which I think it was very obvious they didn't need to do. But yeah, Dan, sorry, yeah. Gene.
I get it. She's a misunderstood antagonist. And I think, as you described her in the On The Go episode, angsty.
Very.
But she doesn't come across as the Jean Grey that we know from previous Marvel films. I know we're talking about the Fox franchise here. Or actually the comics. The Jean that I know or knew growing up watching the cartoons, etc. She was quite soft, very caring and very gentle.
I know this is your dislikes, but can I come in at the end of this Jean Grey bit?
Yeah, sure.
You finished with Jean?
Not yet.
You continue, I'll come at the end.
She does some terrible things, Alex.
I was going to say.
She's walking an elderly guy into the middle of the road and he gets hit by a car. He gets hit by a freaking car.
Now, this is what I was going to say. Either he dies or he's seriously injured. How do you come back from that? Like, there's a redemption arc, and then there's just seriously hurting someone just for shits and giggles. How do you go from that to the wants to protect humanity and mutant kind? And maybe that's the MCU's take on the character, but that is wildly different than Fox. And I'm not saying it has to be the same, but wow, like that's proper messed up.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about physically hurting people, then she's then emotionally hurting Pete up on the...
And she's enjoying it.
It's unforgivable.
All because she wants to find her sister. Don't get me wrong, I would move heaven and earth to find my sisters if they were lost. At this point, she doesn't know that they're dead. But to take enjoyment out of someone's misery, I mean, that's next level. That was my point, yeah. Spot on.
I mean, you said it earlier. Pete's a better man than me because he let that slide.
Yeah, no way I would have.
I mean, she's legit flexing her powers.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, look what I can do. And it's really hard to empathise when she's doing things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It felt a bit like the Scarlet Witch in the Multiverse of Madness. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, a little bit.
But that was my dislikes. Or my dislike. The antagonist could have been anyone. Could have been anyone. But we have shoehorned in mutants.
Got any other dislikes?
Not at the moment.
You can have more if you wish to in a bit as we go.
Okay.
I referred to this, so yes, all agree down, and I'll touch in a second. The montage skipped an awful lot of character development for Peter post-spell in No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of hype for Marvin Jones III as Tombstone, where he was relegated is no doubt just the cutting room floor. Peter is on his own in New York. His friends aren't even there back from university. They're off in MIT.
Yes.
He's literally on his own. He ain't got no one. And yet he's fighting all these baddies, which in themselves are noteworthy villains in the backstory of the Spider Law. And they have erased them in 5 seconds. They've gone, okay, this is a guy with, shooting boomerangs, cool. This is a guy who uses his head to smack against walls, cool. This is a guy who's like one of the biggest, baddest gangsters, very intelligent. I think he's almost indestructible skin in Tombstone.
Yeah.
We're just going to relegate him to 8 seconds of screen time, where he's thrown off the side of a building and then webbed up on and captured.
In the comic books, this guy is a criminal underlord. He's
basically Kingpin.
Yeah.
And he's just relegated to a couple of scenes. I just don't. And I liked it. I liked that we saw those things, and I liked that they used the time jump to explain that he's not just like twiddling his thumbs and being all sad and upset, but those are big characters that you just pulled out of locker and gone, meh, here's a couple of seconds. No, mate, they're films on their own. I don't know, I just wasted. Personally. I don't know what they would have done instead, but it was wasted. Spider-Man continues to suffer from his villain problem.
Yep.
As I say, I want to spend more time, perhaps in a later episode, talk about how Sony still doesn't really get the IP. But yeah, Sadie Sink, Jean Grey. I don't think we needed her. It feels like the Man Spider storyline would have been sufficient. Don't think you needed Punisher, but you only needed Punisher if you had the Man Spider.
Yep.
And they didn't even do that. And what I mean by that is, listen, we see that in the animated series season 2, I think, which is Neogenic Nightmare, I think it's referred to as the...
Because we had a bit of Morbius in there.
Correct. Yeah, Morbius turns up as well. And he's like, fucking hell, this guy's a spider. And I thought I had it bad. Like Peter is proper messed up. But that's why I think that would have been so much more powerful as Pete going through his physical transformation, struggling with his emotions. That in itself is a storyline. That focuses purely on that character, and that's enough. that is enough. And then you get into the whole kind of, well, Punisher's there to help him, but then he's got to protect everyone else, and that kind of anti-hero, but I'm actually saving people from death because his man-spider doesn't mean to do it, and I want to help protect Pete. That could have been wonderful. And that would have given the relationship so much more deeper than just, I think you're a nice kid. That's what all we've got. He just thinks he's a nice kid saying now they're best friends. Like, fine, like, okay, we're not going to talk about Staten Island. But you could have done so much more in the film. But no, they touched on it. I don't really know what really it gives them now. Okay, so he's come to terms with the fact he might be on his own and he can't do it on his own, so he needs friends around him, which I don't think he ever questioned. He just didn't have any friends around him. And they've forgotten about it. He's okay now. So why do we have to go through all that like trauma of, you know, like being extra powerful and having the webs, unless it was like a MacGuffin to be immune to Jean Grey. But you don't need Jean Grey.
Nope.
Amy was leaned on by Kevin, no doubt, to go, can you just tease this mutant saga? Because I don't have time in my lineup before we start off the mutant saga. She goes, yeah, fine. Let's have her as a main protagonist. Cool. Handshake, done deal. 2 billion quid later. But my thoughts are, it didn't have to be anything like that. Like, he could have held his own. I don't know why we continue to have to lean on the MCU to make people think that this Spider-Man is relevant. Garfield didn't do it. Maguire didn't do it. Why are we doing it now? It's enough. We've got so much we can talk about, but they're just relegating really big stories and characters in favour of MCU.
Spider-Man is a massive character globally. It doesn't need characters that no one cared about back in 2008, not until Iron Man came out.
Fun fact, I still don't care about Jean Grey, because I know I'm not going to really see her meaningfully for another 5 years in an X-Men film. I don't get it. And Marvel still, you nailed it though, Dan. Marvel still have this villain problem. She ain't a villain.
Nope.
She's an angsty teenager that's got powers, and sadly she's found out her sister's died. She had a shitty upbringing. All relatable, hopefully not to a lot of people, but all relatable issues. But it didn't need to be in that Spider-Man film. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could have been anything else than that. Another question. We talked about the hand. I mean, I thought we talked about that. Don't go through it again. They just screwed the pooch on that one. Like, they've just relegated what is quite a powerful organisation to just a side note. Like, DODC are now the parental role to these kids. No, that's not how it works.
Nope.
These are the undead ninjas that go toe-to-toe with Elektra and with Daredevil and with Wolverine in the comics.
Yes.
But you're just sidelining them to being looked after by DODC because they need a parent. Fuck off. That's actually ridiculous. But the Hulk, did the Hulk really add anything though, Dan?
Not really.
I guess we could have argued that they could have done more than just a lecture theatre. So if Peter hadn't, and I think it still should have been Kirk Connors.
Agreed.
They don't even have to do anything. Kirk had just popped up here and there whenever Peter needs some advice. He doesn't need to be a lizard, although he may be in the future. But why make it about the Hulk? I don't think the fight in the DODC really did much. Like, it shows that he lost control and he's still at the mercy of the monster. We already knew that. And Banner loses control, but we always knew that's going to happen. I don't get the value of that.
Nope.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like a Scarlet Witch. Just throw it in there.
Yeah.
But why? Okay, well, if you're going to throw in there Bruce Banner, where's his fucking son? Where's his son from that barbecue?
Oh, good point, yeah.
Like, you can't have one and not have the other. And if you have that, well, just throw in everyone else then. Like, I just don't get it down. I'm just so frustrated because it's just meaningless. It keeps Mark Ruffalo in the job. Brilliant, fine, he's great. But if you didn't have the Hulk in there at all, nothing apart from the inhibitor, You would have had nothing.
Nope.
Nothing else. We don't need that character. So guess what I'm articulating very aggressively is I don't see why they have any meaningful, sizable Marvel IP that Marvel owns. You don't need it.
No. Spider-Man can hold his own.
Everything that Sony has within their gift, they've chosen not to use. I don't get it, Dan. And for those reasons, that's those things I don't like. I think it's a good film, but I think the things that bring it down, ironically, is not anything to do with Spider-Man. It's everything else they're filling it up with. They don't need it. That's what frustrates me.
I know we complain that, sometimes they don't necessarily tie things in, or, Thunderbolts, they could have had Spider-Man web singing in the background.
And they should have done.
New York. Just little things.
Of all the things.
Doesn't need massive...
Dan, of all the things they had, they should have had a scene during Bob's Void.
The smudge.
During those
smudgening.
4 years, they should have had it in that throwaway montage. They didn't even do that. But yet they kept in other crap. I just don't get it. It's baffling.
It is.
I don't understand.
The other thing that I find baffling is the powers. It's always like they went, oh yeah, he's embraced it now. That's fine. Off he goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So is he now just web slinging with organic web, or is he using web shooters? I don't know.
And how much more powerful is he? Because he was pretty damn powerful before.
Yeah.
And seemingly he has greater agility because it looks like he can slow time.
Yeah.
Not slow time. He's perceiving time differently, I guess. But he's behaving very similar to Quicksilver.
Yeah.
In, was it Days of Future Past? In it,
yes.
Where he's got the. That's by the way. That's of that dumpster fire film. That was a fantastic scene, where Quicksilver's just like bouncing off debris and he's saving people and moving them very subtly out of the way of harm, and he's almost like doing something like that in the prison. And obviously he can hear, and his heightened senses almost painful.
Yes.
Cool. So what does that mean practically? Don't know.
Who knows?
But we're going to find out maybe in the future. Maybe not.
Hopefully. But who knows? We've got a lot of plot threads that are unresolved, and there is an episode on that. Not that long ago, actually. It was just after we did the rebrand.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll find the link.
It'll be in the description below.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we enigmatically do not like. What else have you got on your list?
That's it.
Shall we talk about the post-credit scene and then what's next on Wallcrawler?
Yep, let's do it.
Post-credit scene, you kind of touched on it, Dan. By the way, don't sit around for it, guys. You would have seen it already by now on social media because spoilers are on here.
Yep.
Well and truly out there. The post-credit scene, though, for those who are uninitiated, features no actors, just Ned's Spidey tracking app. It pans past Earth and the Moon in space with a Spidey icon in the middle of the blackness. It appears that, despite the fact that we know or getting a more of a grounded Spider-Man, is going to be doing something more cosmic as we see the Infinity War Endgame era. But what is it? Well, there are a couple of possibilities. The two main prevailing ones are that have to do with the Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars. The post-credits tease seems somewhat less likely to be linked to Doomsday. Tom Holland, at the minute, hasn't been listed as appearing in the film, but I don't see how he can't be. Though it's possible that we could have a cameo. Doomsday, outside of the initial appearance of Fantastic Four in the spaceship, has to do with the multiverse. There's no indication it takes place in space, so why would there be a Spider cameo? The more likely explanation is that Spider-Man will show up in Secret Wars, which is in space. The cast of the film haven't been announced yet, but all indications will be that there's a bunch of Marvel heroes that do not appear in Doomsday. And as for the space connection, well, much of it takes place on Battleworld, which is a stitched-together world that would occupy some point in space, likely a catalyst to collapsing the multiverse in one place in the MCU. That could be what the icon is. Now, some people have said, well, how can it be that Ned's Spidey app could track him out there? But I mean, it's a superhero film.
Suspend your disbelief.
at the very least, Battleworld exists. It's not on Earth. As for what Secret Wars is about, well, Spider-Man is in fact in the story, and this is actually the origin of his hero's black costume.
It is.
The introduction of the symbiote concept. So, yeah, what seems to be important for this character might be that actually that's what it's suggesting. There is only glitch. We both talked about this. I think we even saw it during the post-credit scene. Is you got the glitch of the Spider-Verse in the Miles Morales films, Into the Spider-Verse. However, if you pause a frame, and some people have done, the numbers correlate to Tobey Maguire's universe.
Does it? Interesting.
So maybe it's all of it, and all of it is nothing, because it goes from the blinking of New York. It doesn't move. There's another one it's tracking. So I'm not quite sure that explanation makes sense in the concept of our Spider-Man, Tom Holland, in Battleworld, because he can't be in two places at the same time. I'm more leaning towards, I think it could be Maguire at the beginnings of Doomsday, where from the sounds of it, his universe might be coming to an end.
Yeah.
Or could be teasing of Miles. But then how can it point Earth in a point of space unless it's doing an incursion? Could be all these things and none of these things. But who knows?
I'm sure all will be explained in Doomsday, without a doubt.
Reminiscent, I think, somewhat of post-Infinity War with the
Captain
pager.
Marvel pager, yeah.
And you're like, oh, what's that? Well, we know what it is. When's it going to turn up? Not till the end, mate. It's going to fly through a ship.
Yeah.
You have to wait like 200 minutes before it happens. What's next to the wall crawl then? Well, it's most likely we'll see him in the Secret Wars, and after that, well, the clock is ticking on the Sony contract to churn out another Spidey film, Dan.
Yes.
Talked about this in the last episode. They've got 5 years and 9 months or something, so it's going to be within a year of Secret Wars, I'd wager. Now, if I was to put money on this, and this might come back to bite me in the backside, I think it'd be a Venom film. Finally.
Yep. Hopefully done right.
Yeah. Not the Tom Hardy one, a different variant, but one which is MC unique to Tom's universe. Everything's going well for our wall crawler, what was surviving Secret Wars, because he's got to. Probably being elevated to a bona fide Avenger, and then he has his love interest and his best friend back. Maybe. So how else can he screw that up? A black symbiote.
Yep.
That's what I'm suggesting.
I like it. I'm there for it.
So I think we have got a brand new day for the character. I think that's what they're implying. I think that's exactly what we're seeing. Anything's possible for the wall crawler. Closing thoughts, Dan?
Again, I enjoyed it.
Agreed.
I just didn't love it.
Is it in your top? We asked a question.
Yes, I asked you the question, didn't I? Is it in my top 3? No.
I agree.
Guardians 3. No Way Home. Thunderbolts. The stakes for me just felt that little bit higher in those films.
Okay. I mean, I'd have Thunderbolts, then Guardians, and Spider-Man. But yeah,
that was no particular order, by the way.
I agree.
But those are my top 3. It's probably in my top 5, definitely.
Your top 5 of Tom Holland appearances.
Top 5 of Phase 4 to 6.
Okay. But is it your top 5 of Holland appearances? I think you gave a particular answer in the you might change your mind in the weeks since you've been, but you gave an answer as we walked back from the cinema.
Did I?
You did.
Can't remember. Oh my god, it was only a few days ago.
You said it was not in your top.
No, it wasn't.
Has that changed, or are you still sticking to your guns?
I'm sticking to my guns.
I don't disagree. Look, it's a good film. I'd say it's a solid 7.9. I really liked it, but I just think they missed some obvious open goals, and I'm really not happy with it because I think they've paid lip service to Disney Marvel, and I don't think they needed to.
No.
But hey, it'd be interesting to know, whether you have differing opinions. Do we miss something? There's loads of Easter eggs. Is there something that we need to call out? Was there something which you think actually we should get back in our boxes and shut the hell up?
Mm.
Probably. Let us know. Got some contact details, Dan. How can people perhaps be part of the conversation? And by the way, look, if you do have comments, we will return to this. We might even have a round table.
Yes.
Happy to do it. We'll probably talk about another state of play, so we can even have it there as well. So you haven't missed the boat. You can still be part of the conversation. But Dan, how can people do that if they want to get in touch?
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at On The Topic Pod. And then we've got Gmail, which is On The Topic Podcast at gmail.com. And Alex, we've got YouTube.
Yes, it's at OTT, or On Topic Podcast with Alex and Dan. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified when an episode drops. But if nothing else, give us some love on Spotify. That's where we're hosted, and it really helps us to get found, hopefully naturally, from people who perhaps haven't heard of us before. There's a comments box below, so it's really easy to comment on an episode. I don't know any other platform that allows you to do that. So if you really want to be part of the show, you can do so. Like many people have done before, you can be involved and leave comments below, and be aware that it could be spoilerific for people.
Yes.
So, be respectful, but otherwise, fill your boots. Leave us some messages on there.
Magic word this week?
Please.
Potato.
There's no other word really, was there?
No.
So if you want to be a star listener to the episode, and you've got to the end of the episode, all you've got to do is type potato, and you'll be a star listener to the show, as many others have done before you.
Hopefully you haven't turned us off by this point. What do you mean you think that? It's all subjective. Everything's subjective on this planet.
It is.
It's fine. It's our opinion. Doesn't mean that you're wrong.
It's a safe space here.
It is.
It is.
But I guess for another week, I'm web slinging out of here. I'm Dan.
And I'm going to create something that's going to be a problem for the mutants in the future. I'm Alex.
And we'll see you next time.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.